I'm really hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry.
Hello, welcome to part 2 of my series on how to save money on the John Muir Trail. Today's topic is going to be about food. So, a word about food. These are things, what I'm trying to do is show you things that you can buy just at your local grocery store and how to get it for cheaper instead of getting some of that fancy backpacker food that's very expensive. So, this is not a complete list. This is just some examples of things, simple things you can do to save money and be creative and find some things that you really like. The key is to find foods that you'll want to eat on the trail. So you need to experiment with some of these at home. So I'm going to give you some cool ideas and get your imagination going here on things you can do. So remember, the key on the John Muir Trail is, depending on which section of the trail you're doing, or any through hike for that matter, is how many days you're going to be out in the backcountry and how much food you got to fit in this guy right here. So we're always concerned about how compact the foods are. So in the early sections of the trail, where say you're starting from Happy Isles, it's only a 2 to 3 day hike to Tuolumne Meadows where you can get more food. Same thing between Tuolumne Meadows and Reds Meadow to MTR or VVR. Those are short sections, and you can bring any food you want because you're going to have plenty of room in your canister. So you can eat better foods then, and which is good because early on the hike, your appetite at elevation is probably going to be suppressed somewhat. So you want to bring good food that you like to eat at the start of a trail. So, for example, one of the things that I like to bring at the start of a hike, hard-boiled egg. I know it's heavy. I peel them, salt them, put them in a bag. That's my snack on the first morning. You hike a couple miles, hard-boiled egg, awesome. Yeah, awesome snack. But it's not something you would bring on your resupply later on. So, the size and density and calorie density of the foods varies by what section of the trail you're doing. So, first off, grocery stores, Costco's, Winco's, even Safeways. If you look closely, you can find food that you can use on the trail that's cheap. And Trader Joe's is awesome. They have a lot of really good foods. This looks like a lot of junk food. It is. I don't eat this every day. And a lot of people will say, well, that's not healthy at all. On the trail, your body's going to be consuming carbs and fat so much. This is one time you can eat whatever you want and not be penalized for it. So today I stocked up on some snacks. Nuts are a great thing on the trail. And these are walnuts. I got them in the bulk bin. And they are cheaper if you buy them in the bulk bin. Walnuts happen to be 183 calories per ounce, which is pretty high. Most nuts are in the 160 to 180 range. Sunflower seeds are really compact. I like those shelled sunflower seeds. Peanuts are really high. And to make peanuts more palatable on a long hike, the peanut M&Ms, awesome. And they don't melt as opposed to the regular M&Ms. So you get the calories and some chocolate. So hit the bulk food sections of stores for some good deals. For example, I looked at the bulk food today at Winco. Almonds were $6 a pound, and these smokehouse almonds were $8 a pound. I like the smokehouse almonds. This is their flavor. They got salt. They're roasted. They're really yummy. I like raw almonds too, so I bring a combination of both of those. Almonds are great because you can add them to a lot of things. Make your own gorp, your trail mix. Just make your own custom. Get out, go in those bulk bins. It's usually pretty cheap. Now, there's a lot of salt in a lot of this food too, but you'll be sweating a lot on the trail, so you will need to replace those salts. So before you hit the trail, eat a huge meal. Eat a huge breakfast, huge dinner, carb load if you're not familiar with carb loading. And that'll save you a lot of weight and give you a lot of energy. Also remember, you can carry your first day's food outside your pack. So outside your bear canister. So you put everything you can in the bear canister. This is especially important in the second half of the trail. Bring something really bulky like a big freeze-dried dinner that serves 4 mac and cheese or something like that, and just eat that the first night because you're not going to be able to fit that freeze-dried food. These things. they don't fit very well. I repackage these into plastic bags, but they don't fit very good in these canisters. So early part of the trail, their convenience is great. I like them then, and but they don't fit very good for as far as density. So I'm going to do a quick example of an easy creative thing to make that is loaded with calories. This is one of my favorite lunches on the trail, and you can do this in the second half of the trail too, because all these things you can send in your resupplies, and they keep pretty well. Maybe not. You might have to find a replacement for cheese, but tortillas. This is I'm going to be healthy with all this junk food around me. These are about 130 calories an ounce. This is per tortilla. This is a whole wheat one because I'm healthy. And simple, great treat on the trail. Meats don't keep very well on the trail, but these pepperonis, Hormel pepperonis, there's 500 calories and protein, and they come in these sealed packages. You get 2 of them. So one of these has 250 calories right here. So I like to use those. You can add them to pastas. So right here, one sleeve of these things, that's 125 calories right there. So that's some good calories. Cheeses, they don't keep real well. I like these Tillamook. They're individually packaged, and they're kind of expensive. So I make sure you buy them at. I bought these at Safeway. They were on sale. They're reasonable. You got to be careful where you buy these. Walmart's another place that sells stuff like this for really cheap. Then there's these Baby Bells. These will keep for about a week on the trail. And in the early parts of the trail, I wouldn't send this to my resupplies. Things like these cheese sticks. But if you get the cheese sticks, get the mozzarella. Mozzarella has less moisture in it than a lot of cheeses. So they last a lot longer. The less moisture, the longer they'll last. So this is my invention called the Frito Burrito. So you just take some pepperoni, some cheese, Fritos. I think these are like 140 calories per ounce. There's 160 calories per ounce Frito. So you notice I crushed them. They're not going to fit in my canister. So Fritos are awesome. You can add them to your noodles, your potatoes. It gives you something crunchy in pastas. They're pretty handy and they're delicious. And you can also start fires with them. So I have my crushed Fritos. You dump some of those on there. And then this is the hiker's friend, condiments. So I've got some Arby's sauce. That stuff's freaking awesome. McDonald's, Picante, Taco Bell. As far as cheeses, you could send this stuff at the second half of your hike. Parmesan cheese, that'll stay for a long time. So if you want to add cheese to your pastas or whatever, that's a good long stretch hike that you can send on your resupplies. So you could also add that to your burritos. So I'm gonna throw in some mild hot sauce. Dump that on there. Hot sauces and condiments, they make a huge difference in a lot of your meals. Add them to noodles, rice, whatever. You just be creative. Try some of this stuff at home and see if you like it. So you roll this guy up. So we're talking 140 calories for the burrito, 125 for the pepperonis. The cheese is probably about 50. The Fritos is probably another 100. We're talking close to 500 calories here. So it's a very filling lunch. So it's really satisfying. So not bad. Even at home for a snack. Delicious. So I just want to show you that as an example of how good you can eat on the trail with just a little creativity. And these are all things I got at the grocery store. I didn't have to go to a specialty store. So I'm going to go by meals. Breakfast is a tough one. The old standby is oatmeal. You should probably bring some oatmeal. It gets old after a while. I get tired of oatmeal, but spice things up. I found these raisins. Raisins are great in granola and in cereal. These are vanilla yogurt coated raisins. Sounds delicious. I'll try it at home first. I'll add to my cereal and to my oatmeal. Give me a little variety. and see if I can find something that I like to add that makes my breakfast a little bit tastier. Pop-Tarts, you can eat these things. They're kind of heavy. I would only use these on short stretches of the trail, but a word of warning on a useless, terrible food like this, but I like them. I only eat them on the trail. They'll give you a sugar boost, but if you don't have something else besides these, you'll crash in an hour. So be careful of straight up sugar. Those can be a problem. So what I like to do for breakfast to get some variety, I gotta wash down that burrito. One of my favorite beers, by the way. Sear Black Butte Porter, Oregon. Bend, Oregon, awesome place. Okay, granola. This is a granola protein almond. There's all kinds of mixes of these things. I'll take a cereal of granola like this, and I'll mix it with grape nuts is a good one. Think of it, or you can buy some of those healthy cereals that have like almonds built into them, something like that. But you can make your own. I'll mix this with some grape nuts, and then I'll throw in maybe some nuts I have, or raisins or whatever. Just give me a little variety, and it gives you a pretty good boost of energy in the morning. So that's always a good one. The other standby for breakfast, there are some freeze-dried things that are pretty good, but what else do I eat for breakfast? Oh yeah, I don't see them around here, but I like those breakfast shakes from Carnation. Anyway, they're like a couple hundred calories. They're like milkshakes. Oh, here, there's right in front of me. Breakfast essentials. These are pretty good, and you can get creative with these. There's all these protein shakes and powders that all you bodybuilder types out there use to beef up. So you can add that to your cocoa. I like cocoa for my sugar fix. I don't drink coffee, but these breakfast essentials are really good. You need milk for these, so that's where this Nido comes into play. Nido is awesome stuff. It's whole fat milk. Kind of hard to find. Winco sells it. Hispanic food stores will carry this. So it's just powdered milk. You can buy other powdered milks, but I really like this stuff. So you can use this for all kinds of cooking. You can add it to your pastas. You can add it to something like a mac and cheese, which is repackage all this stuff so it's smaller. You take out, instead of using butter on your mac and cheese, you can use olive oil. And then add some whole milk in there. And you can add some of your condiments, some cheese. And it's pretty good stuff. It's a pretty good meal early on. Nido you can always add to your breakfast milkshake, hot chocolate, coffee. You can add it to a lot of stuff. So you want to boost up your fat intake because you need all the fat you can get and all the calories you can get. And you also I've mentioned this in one of my other videos. Is you want to bring olive oil. You don't drink more than 2 ounces of olive oil. Could cause some intestinal problems, which won't be pleasant on the trail. So what do you carry it in? I use these little mini water bottles. It's perfect for some olive oil. So dump it in your pasta, in your mac and cheese, stuff like that. So, and this is a good waterproof carrier. I would still put this in a plastic bag because you don't want that stuff to leak, but I haven't had any issues with these leaking. So those are really good. That's most of my breakfast stuff, but some people eat that muesli stuff. Couscous is really popular. I haven't tried those. I don't like those, but a lot of people swear by couscous. But no for me on that one. So trail snacks. Now here's a couple of neat ideas that I find work on long trail hikes. You got your pack of burritos. So this is for your snacks during the day. You can put whatever you want in these things, and they fit perfectly in the bottom. Now, these are the bigger size. There's a little smaller size that fit perfectly in the bottom of your bear canister. So think of all the things you can put in there. Peanut butter is one of them. Nutella is another one. And these are peanut butter is 165 calories an ounce. Nutella is 150 an ounce. And those have a lot of protein in them too. I'm not a Nutella fan, but this is great on a burrito, on a tortilla. So early on, it seems like a big container to bring, but after you finish this container, you eat all the peanut butter. You can use this as something to cook in and rehydrate food in, or you can use it as a cozy. Look up cozies on the internet. It saves you a lot of fuel. What you do, you wrap these with like a foil to hold in the heat, and then you can reconstitute like freeze-dried meats or some pasta, so you don't waste so much fuel. You pour the contents on the noodles, and then you wrap it up and put it aside and let it rehydrate, and that way you don't just run your stove, and you can extend your fuel. So it's a good repurpose idea. So if you don't want to do that, you can buy these in these little individual packs. So this would be if you're probably at a group. It's going to be hard to eat a lot of peanut butter. But there's going to be a ton of calories in this thing. There's servings, 25 servings of 190 calories each. So it's an awesome food. It's perfect for the trail. So idea to repurpose a package. Another one is, this is an early hike thing. So something like Pringles. This isn't a sensible thing to bring backpacking, but say you're hiking out of Happy Isles or Tuolumne Meadows, you're going to be resupplying in a couple days anyway. You got room in your canister to hold it. Eat your junk food like your Pringles and your cookies. And what happens a lot is I like to bring crackers too when I do bring some cheeses like this early in the trip. Problem, crackers always end up crumbling all over the place and they're all screwed up. So eat your Pringles first. Now you have this cool package. And one of the things, I love Ritz. Ritz and crackers are great. But these things become just a powder, which you can still use. You can add it to other foods. But after you're done with your Pringles, you take a sleeve of your Ritz. There's your container. You can put other things like cookies and stuff in there. So they don't get all trashed. And then you'll have food that's still usable. Then you can throw this away at your next resupply. So think of double uses for things. That's a way to save a lot of weight in backpacking. So other lunch items, and of course your standby is nuts. Any kind of nut. Great protein source. I like them, and I eat a lot of those for lunches. Almonds, and the other big thing is your power bars. Now, here's a fancy whey protein bar. It has 20 grams of protein, and it's like 200 and something calories, 360 freaking calories. That's awesome. But this is $1.75. Pretty cool though. I'll grab a few of these, but I'm cheap, so I'm not gonna get a ton of those. I tried to bring a variety of power bars. And I like these little power bars because they're super thin, and you can jam a lot of them into your bear canister. So I'll bring a few of those. These are about $1 each, depending on where you buy them. Now, you can buy some of this stuff in bulk. What I like to do, again, bring things you like to eat. So I will go to Costco and buy, like they sell 50 Snickers bars, a pack of 50 Snickers bars. Now on a thru hike, I'll eat all those. I eat 2 Snickers bars a day. I'll eat one usually for lunch and one for for dessert. And that's a good tip on right before you go to bed. If it's a cold night, eat something like a Snickers bar right before bed, or some rice or some pasta. Your body will digest that while you're sleeping, and it'll keep you warmer. So I like to eat 2 of those a day because I like them. I want to bring food I like. The other thing, you can buy this stuff in bulk. You're going to eat a lot of these on the trail. These are, this is a Costco item, 24 Cliff Bars. Now, I'm not crazy about Cliff Bars, but I like to bring a few of them. And these things are a couple hundred calories. Here we go. 260 calories for one of these Cliff Bars. And you can jam these in here pretty good. They're not fragile. You can jam them into tight spaces. So you buy them in bulk and you get them for about 50 cents a bar. Where if you just go to the store, you're buying all your bars at all the resupply points, especially in the wilderness, they're going to charge you a fortune for things like Cliff Bars. Another one, I don't love these, but they have 21 grams of protein and they're 180 calories per bar. This is another thing I get at Costco. So I think they're about 50 cents a bar, which is half of what you're going to pay for power bars. And you have just as many nutrients in them. And they sell them in a 3-pack. They're about $15 for, I don't know, 25 bars or something like that. That's a lot of bars, 15 bars maybe. Another 6, 18 bars. So there are 3 different flavors. Costco item. It's cheap, and they're pretty good. I like them. Oh, before I forget, another thing I like to do. I tell you all this stuff is really bad for you, but you'll need it. Something like Twinkies. I never eat these things, but I'm going to eat these tomorrow. That's for sure for lunch. I just bought them to show you things you can do. I like to send those in my resupply to MTR. Send yourself a special treat that you're not going to hike with, but when you get there, you can eat something that's just that you crave. You'll be craving certain foods. So the other thing let's go into some second half stuff and some smaller dinners you can make for some things you can get from the grocery store. These things right here, I picked these up today at Winco. These were 78 cents each. I mean, talking about a bar, that is cheap backpacking food. And these things are delicious. Like this Alfredo. One of my other favorite meals I make is the Alfredo, and I'll mix it with those things you can buy in the meat section of tuna. And it's like a tuna casserole. And get the tuna. There's 2 kinds of tuna. You'll see one packaged in water, one packaged in oil. Get the ones in oil. They taste better, and you dump the oil right into your pasta, and it gives you more fat. So get those oil ones. You can also find those packets. They're harder to find. Not all the stores have them. I think Vons carries them in Southern California. There's the chicken packets. Those are a little heavier. I wouldn't bring a lot of those type of things, but they're great to add to things like this. And this cheddar broccoli is really good. If you like vegetables, you can get freeze-dried vegetables, and I'll tell you a couple places you can get those in a sec. Idahoan mashed potatoes, everybody should know about these. Same thing, these are about, I think I got these for 80 cents at Winco. And these can complement any meal, or you can make this your meal and just add other stuff to it. So stuff I like to add to, meats are always a problem on the trail. Stuff that will stay for a long time. So the second half of the trail, this would be too heavy. I would bring this earlier. This is like those tuna things too. It's heavy. You can add Spam, which is gross, but on the trail it tastes pretty good. So you need to think about meats that won't go bad. You can get these beef sticks. Look for a sale. You can buy these in bulk. Or you can use beef jerky, something like that. And you can eat these as a trail snack, or you can add them to your meals for a little, like throw these in your mashed potatoes. They're good. So another meat item. Now this is the one expensive thing. Not these, but these are kind of hard to get. Is the preppers. Preppers are great for finding good stuff for backpacking. You're not only going to be prepared for the zombie apocalypse, but you're going to have some great backpacking food. So this is the one item I will send away for. They also, this company called Honeyville. It's a prepper site, so you can stock your bunker and eat well on the trail. So get these things. They're freaking awesome. These are dehydrated refried beans. And they're loaded with calories and protein. And this is if you have tortillas along, these are awesome for tortillas. I also you can make a lot of this stuff yourself too. Look into dehydrating. I hate cooking. I'm not a very good cook. And I don't like prepping. I don't like prepping my food. So I buy all this junk food. But these are beef crumbles. It's just basically hamburgers dehydrated. And they make them there's chicken ones, there's sausage ones. So I like to bring these. That's where your little container, you can use your mug too. You can rehydrate those in cold water. You could use a container like this, dump these things in there and rehydrate them. You can just throw them in your backpack, and in a couple hours they'll be ready for lunch and smear them on a burrito. So these hamburgers, you can add them to pastas, potatoes, noodles, whatever. And they give you a nice boost. And you obviously repackage these. They put them in plastic bags. They're very compact. You can fit a lot of that stuff in there. So the old standby is ramen. Uh, Ramens, again, you're not going to fit this very good in here, so you do a lot of that and you jam them into whatever space you can fit them in. And again, you're going to add a little bit of your olive oil, and you substitute olive oil for butter. And you could throw your condiments in there and some of your sausage sticks, whatever. And you have great pastas. Now, as far as pastas go, the best pasta to use is the angel hair pasta because it's the skinniest. The skinnier the pasta, the faster it will cook, and that way you're not wasting fuel. So you got to think about fuel too. So that's where your little cozy that I was talking about. You get angel hair pasta, throw that in there, screw the lid on, insulate it, and put it aside for 10, 15 minutes, and that will cook without even, just dump hot water in there and it'll cook. You can do that with rice and things like that too. So that is a good tip. So yeah, that's mostly what I do for dinners. I just get creative, just simple things that I have at home. They don't cost that much if you're careful about it. This is, like I said, this isn't everything. Go down the aisles, find things you like, try them at home, see if you like them. And of course, this is the old standby. This, I just wanted to let you know that I bought this today at Winco. Winco sells these things. This was $7. And by the way, these Mountain House, I'm a big guy. This says 2.5 servings. I eat this whole thing, and so does my daughter, and she weighs like 120 pounds. She'll eat a whole one of these. So don't share these because you'll go hungry. But way too much room. You got to fit everything in your bear canister. So be careful on the volumes of things. Treats on the trail are really nice to have. So here's where your Nito comes in again. Instant Jello pudding. You can just dump some in a bag. Put some cold water in a bag, dump in your Jello and your Nito, shake it up, put that aside, and you got an awesome treat and a morale booster. So that is a good one. And so a couple other things. First of all, drink mixes are another one. Water gets boring. A lot of times I end up not using them, so think twice about this. I like the little electrolyte boost if it's going to be really hot. I use goo or some Gatorade and Crystal Light is great. Mostly just for interest rather than drinking plain water. But that mountain water is delicious. There is free food all over the trail, and you can get them every day, but you have to bring ways to cook them, and those are the trout that are on the trail. So you have to have time to fish. You have to have to know how to fish. I'll do another video on fishing for through hiking in the John Muir Trail. So that is actually a good option to get a huge energy boost. Another cool thing I saw, I haven't tried this, but there's a video on YouTube about making your own, if you don't have a dehydrator, making your own pasta, dehydrating your own pasta, not the pasta, but the sauce. So what you got to do, you take don't do meat ones, just do a plain pasta like a ragu, and you spread it out on a cookie sheet, really thin, like takes up most of the whole cookie sheet, and you put it on the lowest setting on your oven and put it in a lower rack and leave it in there for like 8 to 10 hours, and it comes out just like a fruit leather, and you can individually wrap those in plastic bags. And when you're making your pastas, you can just add those to your pasta. So just another cool idea. If you do a YouTube search on dehydrating your own pasta sauce, you'll find something on that. So just be creative. Practice some of these meals at home. Oh, and the other meats, salami. I didn't mention salami. A lot of people like to bring salami or those beef sticks. Those only last 5 to 7 days, depending on the heat. So that's not a second half trail thing. That's a first half of the trail. That's why I like those pepperonis. You can also get, there's pre-cooked bacon. That sounds gross, but that's another thing that lasts a long time. Add that to some mac and cheese or some potatoes. It's freaking delicious, and it stays pretty good. That's kind of expensive. So I think that's it for stuff I like to use on the trail. And I kind of go different things every time I go. I just see what's at the store. I'll walk up and down the aisle and say, that looks cool. You can think about spices. I'm not a spice guy, but if you're going to bring trout, obviously you'd want to bring some salt and pepper or some. I like to do seasoned salt and a little olive oil, and they come out delicious. Again, it's a fuel. It uses some fuel, but it's free food with a great protein boost. So just think outside the box. Don't go for all those expensive prepackaged brands. If you can afford them, some of them are really good, and I do like to bring some of those. But yeah, just be careful what you buy at the store. You can do, I would say you can do the whole John Muir Trail on $100 worth of food, and that's also supplementing with hiker barrel stuff too. So if you bring as much as you can and put them in resupplies, it's going to be cheaper. It's tempting to buy things at the stores, and of course you're gonna buy one of these and maybe a burger or something like that. So keep money aside for that. So that's it for food, and stay tuned for part 3 is going to be on ways to save money on gear. So see you soon. Thanks.